Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Lori Cole. I'm the president of the Andover Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to see many of you out for our Meet the Candidates event. This is a very important time of year. Each candidate will be given 5 minutes to speak, tell you a little bit about themselves, their platform. If you have any questions, they will be available afterwards for you to answer questions, to interact with until they're ready to go home. So I just ask that you respect them, respect their time, and respect each other up here. This is a nonpartisan event. So we will go in order. We will start with the Andover City Council, and then we will go to the Butler County Trustees. I will call each of the candidates up in between. So we will start with Tim Brunson with the Andover City Council.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tim Brunson, and I'm running for Andover City Council. Thank you to the Chamber and to Butler Community College for hosting this awesome event. I appreciate everybody's time. Tonight, I just want to introduce a little bit about myself and tell you why I'm running for Andover City Council. First, to introduce my family, my wife and my 2 daughters are here. Kristen's been my wife for 15 years. She's put up with me that long. And then my daughter Alyssa is 13, and my daughter Briella is 11. And we've lived here all of Alyssa's life pretty much for 13 years, and we've really enjoyed it. We've gotten a lot out of the community. I hope we've put in as much as we've gotten out of it, but we love living here. For my job, I work in technology. I work for a pharmacy software firm downtown called Keycentrics, and I make fancy software features for them that solve problems that serve pharmacies all over the country. I currently serve as the Andover School Board member and have done so since the year 2022. It was a difficult time coming out of COVID, but we faced a lot of challenges, including a tornado that you may remember that hit our Prairie Creek Elementary where my daughters went. But we were resilient and we responded, and I've learned a lot in that job. I govern as a school board member, and hopefully one day as a city council member, knowing that I answer to the people and one day to my maker. So I had a resident of Andover reach out to me this week asking me a poignant and thought-provoking question. She said, her name is Miss Martha Martin. I don't know if she's here tonight, but hey, good to see you. She said, what is your responsibility to Andover, the citizens of Andover, as you run for Andover City Council? And I thought that was a great question, thank you. And so I want to answer that in four prongs. She already knows the answer, but for those who don't know, the first is to listen, the second to inform, third to engage, and fourth to attract. So I'll start with listening. I listen to my constituents. I listen to you, the taxpayer. If elected, I got into the seat because of people who voted me to be in. And I humbly understand that importance of serving you. So if I'm not listening, I'm not doing my job, and I want to be serving you in that capacity. Second, to inform. I like informing people in the city about the fun things that are coming up, but also important votes that are coming up that might be a fork in the road, so to speak, in where we go as a city. So I enjoy informing people about those kinds of things. And part of that comes in with transparency. If I'm not informing about important votes coming up, then that looks like I'm hiding. And I know I'm not trying to, but I think it's important that the populace is as informed as possible. And to the Andover City Council's credit, they stream every meeting, and it's on YouTube with closed captioning if you can't hear what's being said, and it's an excellent production, so shout out to them. Thirdly, engaging. I think this might be the most important point, and it's very challenging. Engaging in healthy debate and discussion, but with decorum. I think everybody knows that our national temperature is kind of increased, and as citizens, we deeply hold passionate values that we want to see go forth, but other people might not see it the same way. And we need to have respect for one another and maintain decorum as we discuss the benefits and drawbacks of any decision. And so I hope to bring that, and I've led with that in the school board. And lastly, I want to attract families to single-family housing, to multifamily units. I want to attract businesses, but do so in a sustainable manner. I don't want to grow too fast but too slow. I know there's a lot of feelings on the changes that have happened in Andover recently, just with like the Heritage Parkway and the Skyloft apartments are a wonderful addition to our skyline, but we didn't really have much of a skyline before, so it's a big change for people, and I understand that. But I want to make sure that we're growing sustainably so that we can serve citizens for the future. Lastly, I'll just end with a little dream that I have, and I don't know if this will ever happen, or maybe it's 10 years off or 3 years off. I'd love to see a performing arts theater in our town. I'd love to see a place where we could attract traveling acts that could maybe be, comedians or small music acts, but also have this venue as a service to our local schools. I put out a poll recently, and the number one thing that people love about our town is our schools, and having more venues, another venue to serve orchestras and bands and choirs as the schedules fill up. I'd love to see that happen. So with that, I hope you'll vote for me on November 4th for Andover City Council. Thank you. My name is Tim Brunson.
Thank you, Tim. Next, we'll hear from Colin Gallagher.
Hello, everybody. I'm not used to using the microphone. I usually talk pretty loud as it is. As you all know, okay, thank you. I would like to say that I'm running for Andover City Council. I have lived here in Andover for 22 years. I was born and raised in Salina, came to Wichita State, began my career working for the state, then moved on to working for the city, back to the state, and now I work in the federal line, or federal, as a federal contractor, I should say. I have loved Andover since moving here 22 years ago. I didn't know anything about Andover. I came here, decided to raise kids here because I was told this is a safe community with great schools, and I was blown away. I can sit there and say that I never wanted to leave Andover. Leaving Salina, where I was born, I came to Wichita thinking, hey, I'm going to get out of that small town. The only thing I want to do now is stay here. And this comes back around later as we continue here. I want to become a city council member for the city of Andover, not so much for myself. It's really not for myself, and it's not even for my neighborhood. The first thing that comes to my mind is my two kids. Both of my kids, two of my kids, I should say. One of them is 21, one of them is 16. Both of them are raised here, and they actually both want to stay here. As my 21-year-old is getting ready to graduate WSU, she's wanting to stay in the Andover area, although her fiance is probably going to drag her off someplace else. This is a good sign, though. This made me take a step back from the time she graduated Andover High to say, hey, we're doing something right here. Now, the other half of this is I do want to serve my community. I've grown up and always have been in the public service world, and that's what I want to continue to do. But that doesn't answer why me. And honestly, I'll tell you that I ask myself the same question over and over again. It's the same reason why I went into public service in the first place. It's because I don't trust anybody else to do it. I know I have the motivation and dedication. I also like to say I have the perspiration to go with it. And when I say that, I mean that I'm one of these people who are always thinking about things. I'm always wanting to make the system faster or better, but there has to be a balance. There's accountability that we as a city council member have to take. We have to take in the criticism from our constituents, but we also need to communicate well with them. You had mentioned before as well, transparency, which is actually one of the main keys here that I have. I believe that, as I say in my campaign, I serve with purpose and heart. That goes to my family, because my purpose is I want them to want to be here forever. I do that with love, that's my heart. But I also want to serve with integrity, with the transparency, and as well as communication. I'm huge on that. I want people to reach out to me. I plead for people to bring up questions and concerns. I will always try to find an answer, and if I can't find an answer, I will find who does know that answer and get an answer. The city of Andover and the city council up to now have done a great job, and I have no complaints. But I want to carry on that tradition, that legacy that they've already built. We have 3 open positions. Well, I say 3 open. We have 3 seats that are open. There's 4 of us running for it, and unfortunately, one of us is not going to make that seat. All 3 of us, I'm sure, are more than capable. We have different experiences we bring to the table, and that diversity that we all have is what makes us special. Of course, being in public service, I do take public safety here in Andover very, very seriously. I've worked with many of the agencies around here, the fire department, the police department, EMS, and I have nothing but great things to say. I would love to expand on some of their operations. Specifically, I believe we're lacking a little bit in the emergency EMS side for the southern part of Andover, but there's other things we need to look at as well. I believe in being fiscally responsible. Using tax dollars wisely is, of course, key for everybody who pays into taxes. We're going to get to that too here in a second. When I say using tax dollars wisely, that also means finding other ways to fund things aside from utilizing taxpayer funds, such as grants, such as free business that's out there, and other entrepreneurs who want to grow. And by entrepreneurs, I don't mean somebody who's trying to build necessarily a business here in Andover, but willing to provide their services at free or reduced cost for that opportunity to grow their business. I do want to address, as my time in City Council, a little bit of the concerns people have expressed and things that I've seen in reference to our property taxes, specifically through the county. There are some legal and as well some, I should say, there's some legal and financial things that we can do in order to drop what we pay annually in our property taxes, and I want to address those things. I do, of course, want to promote that transparency, as we mentioned, in our budgeting process, and again, find other ways to fund programs, things that we wish to grow. Special programs, especially for the elderly and the youth, are great because we want our youth to stay in the community, much like I'm trying to build for my kids. Our quality of life here in Andover is far better than the majority of what's around us. We are stuck in between Wichita, we are stuck between El Dorado, and these are things that I would want to make sure that we stay as this little diamond in between. In closing, I want to say that listening and communicating are great aspects that I possess. I would like to utilize those to help be your next city council member. I wish anybody to address any concerns, problems with me, either here or away from here. And I hope that working together we can come and make Andover strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Palmer. Next, we have Palmer Cameron.
Good evening, friends, neighbors, and family. My name's Homer, and for the past 6 years, I've had the honor of serving you on the Andover City Council. My family and I have lived here since 2009, and in that time, Andover has become more than a place on a map. It has become a place that we welcomed our children, the place where our neighbors became family, and the place we are proud to call home. But here's what Andover is truly special. It's not just my home, it's our home. It's a place where teachers know your kids' names, where the Livingston staff remembers your order, and where in times of crisis, we don't ask if someone is a stranger, we ask how we can help. We all want the same thing, a city that feels like home. Not just for those of us who have been here for decades, but for the new families moving in, for our seniors who built this community, and for the independent business owners working late so they can open their doors in the morning and keep them open for the long haul. That's why I believe in infill development, not building out in the distance until we forget who we are, but strengthening the neighborhoods and streets we already love. Every empty lot we fill, every old property we revive is one more chance for someone to find their place here to feel like they're home. I am an Andover homeowner. I support grants and tax rebates that help homeowners revitalize their neighborhoods, that help small businesses improve their storefronts, and help people stay and invest right here in Andover. Because when people improve their homes and businesses, They're not just raising property values, they're telling their neighbors, I'm here for the long haul, this is my home. Andover is one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Kansas. It makes me so proud to be a part of the city council that helps our community continue to expand and grow. In my time on Andover City Council, we have renovated Fire Station number 1, built a second fire station, and added a fire station park. We have renovated the 13th Street Sports Park, built the Harry Street Nature Park, and rebuilt the Central Park Lodge. Oh, and don't forget the heritage. These are all parts of the city that make it unique. It is my goal to continue to make Andover a city that people don't just pass through. We're a community that says, welcome home. It is a city we have all worked so hard to build. We have worked so hard to rebuild too. I'll never forget the tornado that tore through our city a few years ago. In the blink of an eye, homes were flattened, families were displaced, and life as we knew it were shaken. I had the honor of serving on the Long-Term Recovery Committee for 2.5 years, working side by side with the United Way and meeting so many of our neighbors who were affected. We may not have lost lives that day, but so many of us lost memories, security, and the comfort of home. We came together, and neighbor by neighbor, volunteer by volunteer, Andover wasn't just a city recovering from a storm. Andover was a family we brought each other back home, literally to new homes. That moment reminded me why I serve, because when disaster strikes, or when challenges come, the strength of Andover is that we don't give up on each other. We carry each other home. I lead my life with a simple theory: treat every person I meet like a friend. And since joining the Andover City Council in 2019, I've continued to implement this life rule and tried to inspire those around me to do as well. Because for me, and for Andover, there are no strangers, only neighbors. If reelected, I promise to keep Andover growing smart with infill that strengthens our neighborhoods, expand grants and incentives so our businesses and homeowners can thrive. I will help guide us through a Kellogg Phase 2 plan that's safe, business-friendly, and welcoming. And most importantly, keep Andover this kind of city where everyone feels at home, in good times and bad. Friends, Andover is more than buildings and roads. It's laughter at Bob and Luigi's, it's friendly rivalry of Andover High and Andover Central. It's the cap-fed amphitheater. It's the welcoming of every new neighbor, and it's the comfort of knowing that when storms, literal or figurative, come our way, we face them together. My name is Homer. I've lived here since 2009. I've served you since 2019, and with your vote, I'll keep working to ensure that Andover is always a place where everyone feels at home. I run for re-election not for a title, but because I want to make sure Andover never loses that heart. I want our children to grow up in a city where they feel safe walking to school, where our seniors can age with dignity, and where every new resident feels like they're finally home. Thank you, Lori and the Chamber, for putting this on tonight. Thank you for Andover. Please vote November 4th.
Thank you, Homer. And our final Andover City Council candidate, Taylor Train.
First off, thanks to everybody for coming this evening. This is awesome. Thank you guys for putting this on. It's a great crowd. I wish we had more, to be honest. But it is what it is. So no chat GPT, no pre-written speech, just a couple bullet points I wanted to touch base on. So as Lori said, my name is Taylor Train. I'm here with my family, my wife and I. We've been together 15 years next month. We got married when we were 19 years old and been through trials and tribulations, but here we are, and that's a great accomplishment for me. Today's actually her birthday, so happy birthday. Great way to spend the birthday dinner. So, I'm just here to do this for my kids and my family. Andover is a community that I grew up in. My mom worked for the city for almost 15 years. When I was coming up, I've been to more council meetings than I could even count against my will. You know, I'm a young kid growing up. My mom was doing the minutes for all the meetings, and you know, growing up, it was the last place I thought I wanted to be. But here I am, wanting to be there as an adult. So pretty ironic how things can kind of come full circle. So the Andover community is great. You know, I joined the military fresh out of high school. I'm a combat vet from Iraq, and my wife and I, you know, as soon as I got out of the military and we had the ability to purchase our first home, I knew that Andover was where it was going to be. There was no doubt in my mind about that. We bought our first home, we built it in Prairie Creek just down the road, and a year and 13 days after we are in our home, we lost everything in the Andover tornado. And, you know, that really showed me what this community is all about. You know, firsthand experience. Homer touched on it, Tim touched on it. You know, it was a struggle for everybody in the community, but for those of us truly impacted, when you lose everything, that's the real struggle. And I can tell you, you know, we would have never have gotten through it if it wasn't for the Andover community. You know, whatever, I will forever be in debt to Andover for the response and the support and just everything the community did for us. It made, you know, a terrible situation, you know, somewhat good, I guess. Let me see. And, you know, when it comes to living in Andover, you know, we bought and built our first home. You know, that's something that I want my kids the ability to do. You know, I'm currently serving on the board of directors at the Rural Water District, number 5. There's a lot of the Andover area that the water district serves, and some of you may know, may not know that that water is double what Wichita costs. I run a 7-figure lawn and landscape business, so the drought restrictions and everything that took place over this last couple of years truly impacted not only our business, but all of our customers, and I jumped in the board to try to make an impact. And one of those things was, you know, bringing affordable housing to Andover. Joel Morris tried to bring the Pinner Edition to Andover north of 21st. And that's something that he wasn't able to do because the water district wasn't willing to release the water rights to that. You know, so I just want affordable housing in Andover. I want my kids the ability to be and raise their families in our community. You know, it's a great community. Obviously, everybody knows it's the best schools around. And I just want to do something with affordable housing and giving others the opportunity, like myself, being a single family income, to be able to enjoy all the luxuries and things of our community. With that being said, you know, I've talked to the mayor. I've had several conversations with the mayor. A lot of development seems to happen around Kellogg. Obviously, it's a main fairway, etc. But you know, it would be great to get an Oldies and Hy-Vee, you know, some grocery option kind of north of Central, you know, 13th area, 21st. You know, everything being down south. I'm grateful that we have the options that we do, but it would be awesome to kind of grow that as well. Another thing too is you know, running a 7-figure business. You know, it's every dollar counts. You know, the current city council, Homer, Phil, great mentor of mine. You know, we're losing a great one with Phil stepping away from the council this year. He's phenomenal with public engagement and transparency and all that stuff. And you know, big shoes to fill with Phil. That's funny. I didn't think about that. No pun intended. But, you know, there are some things with the Capitol Amphitheater being one of them that are bleeding taxpayer funds. You know, and that's a huge expense that we need to look at, and we can free up some funds there. Everybody's quick to spend money that's not theirs, you know, and I just want to get into the council and just kind of work alongside the other council members and the mayor and just kind of spend our tax dollars wisely, professionally, and yeah, grow the city, you know, just grow the city. You know, it's a great community and we all love it. That's why we're all here. And I'd appreciate your guys' vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. So now we are going to transition into the Butler Community College District 1 trustee, Jim Howell. and if you get bored, he will do magic tricks and hand puppets, he has already said.
Shadow puppets. Anybody interested? Sometimes I feel like I'm the oldest guy here, but anyway, good evening, everyone. My name's Jim Howell, and special thanks to all of you for coming and to the chamber for organizing this event. Again, wish we had a bigger turnout, but apparently it's not live streamed, but you can go on the chamber and catch it, which is a good thing. As I was introduced, anyway, I'm Jim Howell. I'm running for Butler Community College Board of Trustees, District 1 position. Again, I say that, no regret. As you may have heard, the college will soon be celebrating its 100th anniversary. As you can probably tell, to state the obvious, I've not been around quite that long. I can't speak to all of that, but I have lived in Andover for almost 30 years plus. I raised and educated my children here. I got to be part of the operation of the college for 8.5 years when I served 2 4-year terms as a trustee from 2013 to 2021. Let me back up for a minute. Actually, I go back a little bit farther than that. I graduated from Butler County. I went to WSU, did my undergrad, master's, went on to law school, and then I did full circle and I came back and I taught at Butler County as an adjunct professor for a number of years. So I'm kind of like a Butler groupie, I guess you might say, in a way. But enough of all that. I have some cards that my daughter put together over there, Shannon, and she's kind of a voluntary, involuntary campaign manager. But anyway, they tell you a little bit more about me, learn a lot about me. You can go to my Facebook page. There's a whole lot of stuff about me. I am an attorney, so don't think bad things just because I'm an attorney. But I do like what I do, and it proved to be very beneficial when I was on the board serving as a trustee, because it was just another aspect of things to know a lot about what's going on, so it was extremely helpful. But anyway, visit my Facebook page, ask me questions, whatever, I'll tell you everything. There's no secrets, I don't have any dark secrets, you just give me a call or let me know what you want to know. But more importantly, I want to talk just for a minute about this evening, what really begs this question, and you probably all have it. Why did I run for Butler trustee years ago, and why am I back? Why do I want to do this again? Well, my past tenure with Butler began out of some concerns that developed about making an education available for everyone that was enjoyable, affordable, easy, seamless, transfer, career paths, and pulling all that off without causing a tax burden or increasing the tax burden. Because nobody likes taxes, but we like all the other benefits. So I had all those kinds of concerns that were there. Well, that's what I ran on to try to make those things better. And well, the community elected me twice. And that's what I worked hard at for 8.5 years while I was on the board. Successfully, I believe, because things went pretty well for the 8.5 years I was on there. But after that service, I was pretty proud of the college and everything we've done, and controlling taxes and the mill levy and improving things, cutting programs that needed to be cut, and just making it more cost effective, keeping the tuition down, making it good for the high school students to transition into career paths when they graduated. Those were all good things. I was very proud of everything that we had done. So there was no reason to run for a third term for 4 years. So I said, things are going cool. I think I can sit this out. I'm getting old. I gotta start wearing these little glasses and things and see stuff. And I had better things to do. So that was fine. But then last year, I can't remember about when it was, there was some legislation that was started up, but I heard a rumor last year that efforts were being made to pave the way to slowly close off some of the college's programs and its very presence or some of its outreach areas under the guise of consolidation into the 4-year colleges. I won't mention any college names, but you probably know what they are. In fact, the legislation was actually introduced, and it's no stranger to me. As a lawyer, I could read legislation, I understand it, and I got the big picture. I knew what they were up to. It just raised my concerns even more about what's going to happen to the college, and that's a big deal. Well, I care about Butler, I care about the community, I always have, and I always will. So here I am, running again, ready to jump back in with the same passion the same commitment, the same mission, and the same goals that I had when I was there before. I'm gonna start right back up. But one more addition to that is I gotta make sure that we don't close off our college or close off our programs, because it's important to all of us, the children, the parents, everything. We've got to keep it cost effective. We've got to watch out for what we do so that we don't have a burden on the taxpayer any more than we want to. But we need to have that benefit. It is a great asset to this community, and we need to keep it here. Well, I can go on and on and on. I don't have my cards with me, and I'm probably gonna run out of time anyway. So I just want to let you know that I'm running. I'm happy to run again and do everything I did before, plus some. But I need your vote and your commitment for that purpose. God bless and thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next, we will be hearing from Butler Community College District 2 trustee, Eric Brown.
Thank you. Again, thank you to the Chamber for having us here, and all of you for being here tonight. Growing up in this small Butler County town of Potwin, 400 people, maybe it was easy to become a little awestruck. I still remember the first time it happened to me. I was a 13-year-old kid. My grandpa would take me to the home Butler basketball games. Some of you, if you're old enough, you might remember a guy that played for Randy Smith by the name of Herbert Jones. Herbert was a stud. He was only 6'4". I say only 6'4" because when you play down low, that's actually pretty small. But I vividly remember to this day an inbounds play from under our own basket. Herbert was lined up near the three-point line. The inbounder looked off the defender and then threw a lob towards the basket. Herb had made a cut towards the basket, spread his legs, and went completely over a defender, caught the ball in midair for a thunderous dunk. The power plant was silent. Everyone was trying to figure out what they just saw. Then a few seconds later, it erupted and about blew the roof off. Herbert Jones was this middle school boy's hero. My freshman year at Remington, I even wore number 44, so I could be like Herb. That year, my sister was a sophomore at Butler. She had Herb as a classmate in Tanya Kirshner's biology class, and she shared with Herb my fandom and arranged for me to meet Herb after a game. My dream had come true. I had shook hands and talked to Herb Jones. Herb was creating his own dream, playing high-level basketball here at Butler. He went on to play at Cincinnati for Bob Huggins and led them to a Final Four. But that night, Herb was fulfilling a dream for this Butler County kid. Butler has been the home, the creator, and the fulfillment tool for so many dreams. I think of kids like Lexi Moore. Lexi's attending Butler right now on a band scholarship. That scholarship is making Butler affordable for Lexi to help her chase her dream of obtaining a degree. I think of Ella Strome. Ella is here on a cheerleading scholarship. That scholarship is helping Ella chase her dream of becoming an elementary school teacher through the BEST program, which is a tremendous partnership with Butler and Emporia State. Partnerships. That's a Butler specialty with other area four-year schools and with area high schools. Many of you are aware that USD 402, Augusta recently passed a bond issue, and Butler is right there, working with USD 402 on the design and the implementation of so many of the tech programs that were promised in that bond issue in order to fulfill even more dreams. I am the president and CEO of White Eagle Credit Union, and I've worked in the financial institution realm for 26 years. I have a great understanding of fiscal responsibility and optimizing a budget. I am equipped and ready to have those hard conversations. I sat down with Dr. Daniel and was able to have a great visit. I've heard her vision for the future of Butler. Dr. Daniel is an open book and is very data-driven. She wants to get behind the numbers and understand the value that we are projecting, where the funds are flowing, and where the future of education is heading. Tonight, I want to give some clarity as to what I see the role of a trustee to be. Trustees must juggle the needs of the college versus the taxpayer. To the college, 1 mil is approximately $1 million to the budget, and that's a significant number. The mill levy from the college is at 13 mils. 13 mils. That's the second lowest mill assessment of any junior college in the state. Think about that, the second lowest. The current and previous trustees have worked hard to keep that in check, and in fact have lowered the mill level significantly. That mill level used to be in the 20s. It was recently lowered to 19 and today sits at 13. The average mill levy assessed to a property in this area is about 165 mills. So 13 of your 165 mills are assigned to Butler. On average, that's about the cost of watering your lawn in the summer, or about the cost of 2 cups of coffee. But did you know, on the flip side, Butler creates $45 million of positive impact on the local economy. One of the largest employers in the area, one of the largest positive economic impacts in the area, the creator of opportunity, the creator of dreams. I've seen students with the dream of being a nurse benefit from the teaching and mentoring of professors like Selena Walker. I've seen students catch the fire and the passion from Troy Norman. I've seen students fall in love with television and radio with Matt Jacobs. I fell in love while attending Butler. We had a class next door to each other in 200 building. So I'm a Butler alum. My wife is a Butler alum. My 2 older sons were Butler students, and my youngest son is currently a freshman there now. There are people in this region with dreams of making a brighter tomorrow for themselves, for their families. There are people like Herbert Jones out there wanting to pursue those dreams, and there are people out there who are going to wear number 44 to watch it happen. So again, my name is Eric Brown, and I'm running for District 2. I appreciate your vote on November 4th.
Thank you, Eric. Next, we will hear from Jacob Smith, also running for Butler Community College District 2 Trustee.
All right, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you to the Chamber for the invite and for everyone who's here. I mean, how do I follow those comments? I mean, he was like on it. I guess we'll start and just give you a little background on myself. Augusta graduate, class of 93, date myself, some classmates here in the room. Joined the military, also appreciate your service. Turn that phone off back there, mine, apparently. Anyway, I was going to Kansas State University while in the military, serving in the reserves as a medic. Married my high school sweetheart. We just hit our 30th anniversary as well. And part of Kansas State, graduating there, I went to the ROTC program, took my active duty commission, was commissioned in '98 as a lieutenant. That started my 22-year journey as an active duty officer, serving in healthcare administration. An exciting career, taking us all over the world. Got to see lots of things. After K-State, I also got to attend and do my master's degree through Baylor in healthcare administration. Got to run hospital programs as a department chief, running lots of people and some significant budgets. But we always had a heart for coming back home to Kansas. My family's from Augusta. My wife's family is currently living in Newton. We bought land, 15 years ago, with always the plan of we're going to design stuff, we're going to move back, and we're going to build. Because, military, we move around a lot. Every 3 years or so, they send you someplace new. So we were really looking forward to coming home, and we made it. I retired in 2020 from the Army. My last duty station was in Texas. I promised my kids that I would let them finish high school where we were at because, it's tough on children sometimes moving around in the military. But they finally all got out of the house. Nice to be an empty nester. They're all in colleges or done with college. I have one that's still a nursing student. But the wife and I, we pulled the trigger and moved back to Kansas. Sold the house in Texas and came home. So we've been home about 3 years now, coming up on 3 years. Finally got the house finished, built and moved in. Loving being, like roots. We finally have a place where we can settle down and call it home. Be with family, invest back in the community. Joined the American Legion in town. Like, am I one of those old combat vets? Apparently. So joined the local, community, trying to see what's going on and how to get engaged. This opportunity came up. I did roughly attend Butler, college, the community college. I did one class while I was also doing Wichita State University, waiting for my wife to graduate high school. This has grown so much in 30 years. It's amazing what the community has done to build a community college. I decided to run. Like most of us, we want to give back to the community. I do have an interest in maintaining education. I see and I look through the programs, They have great offerings in building our young people, the young students, and some not so young students, that want to better themselves. So obviously they're doing great things, and I just wanted to be a part of it. To me, fiscal responsibility is a huge part. Many of you have talked about, yes, we want to build the programs, we want to be, continue to be relevant technically, what's going on in the community, but do it fiscally, responsible, so we're not raising taxes on the community to pay for programs. Some of it you talked about, some of you, 8 years running, you wanted to maintain programs, and the hard part of which programs may not be viable that you need to trim. I think the trustees have been doing a great job of that in the past, as you can see from the programs and the people. I just wanted to be a part of that. The opportunity presented itself to run, and I said I'm back home, put down roots. So, running for the position to continue to contribute as best that I can for this trustee position number 2. Just thank you guys for coming. I know not everybody, can win on the ballot because, some of us are running, for the same seat, but just the fact that you all are willing to run and volunteer for the community, you're already winners, whether we make it through this first round of ballots or not. So, thank you for coming out, get out the vote, get out there and, continue to make the communities better. And thanks again.
Thank you, Jacob. And our final candidate is Dave Shearer with Butler Community College District 3. You can tell I went to Butler when it was still Butler County.
Thank you. I kind of have a different position a little bit because I am running from El Dorado, and it includes Butler County and north, up by Whitewater, Potwin, Cassidy, on over. So I am in North Butler County and the El Dorado area. So it's a little bit different. I am currently a trustee and running for re-election. And I have enjoyed my 4 years as being a trustee, and I'm very excited about serving another 4 years if elected. So I'm really I'm very into education. As a retired educator, I had a banker and a really good friend who was involved in workforce development come and recruit me to run for this position that I have. And I believe in education 100%. We have great schools here in the Butler County region. Whatever high school you go to, they are great with great leadership. As an educator in the Wichita district, I knew a lot of the leaders. I know Brett White, who is the leader here in Andover, and we've just got great leaders in the education field. But I also want to say that Butler Community College does play a vital part in our financial well-being, in our educational well-being, and in growing future citizens here in this area, in El Dorado, in Augusta, wherever they choose to lie. We are the largest employer in the community. We also give a great educational option to high school kids. We have on average 85 high school students who graduate from the early college academies, saving their parents millions of dollars in educational tuition, housing, and they graduate with a college degree before they graduate with a high school diploma. We had a kid last year graduate with a diploma and a degree who started a $100,000 job in the area. So Butler makes an impact, okay? And we also provide it for the high school kid that wants to take a few classes to better themselves so that they don't have to take the full 120 credit hours when they graduate. So we do offer that along with it. But we also offer, if you're a high school graduate or if you're an adult and you want to go back to school, we offer great certificate programs and great degree programs to lead on to future track to where any of the colleges you want to go to. I mean, several of you said you were Wichita State graduates. Butler Community College is Wichita State's leading pipeline for transfer students into Wichita State University. So we're very important. I would like to say also that we're very important to all of the areas. We have people that live in all of our areas. Andover, we built the Redler Institute of Culinary Arts here with the help of Scott Redler and Betsy Redler, and with their tutelage, they are really leading culinary students to come in, take classes, get their diplomas, get their certificates, and then move on into restaurant and chef jobs into this area. I mean, I noticed Andover has had 3 brand new restaurants open up on Randover Road in the last year or 2. Okay, someplace along the line, they've got to have chefs. Okay, so I'm very proud of that, and it's here in your community. We've expanded the Rose Hill construction building to include welding, and that program is full of welding students. We've increased the number of nursing students, not only in El Dorado, but in Winfield, with a cooperative with Cali Community College, to where we've now got 16 students in Winfield going after their nursing degree. And you go, wait a minute, how does Butler County benefit from that? What about the student who may live in Douglas, the student who may live in Rose Hill, that would rather drive to Winfield instead of driving to El Dorado to attend classes? So we've made Butler more accessible to more people. And as a retired educator, I see a bright future for Butler Community College. With Dr. Daniel as our new president and her data-drivenness, and I see Butler people going to be into the communities. I see Butler participating in different community activities to where we are a part, and I just see bright things for Butler in the future. I'm going to kind of go a little bit off of Eric. I grew up a mile away from Butler Community College. Was really good friends with the very first president of Butler Community College. I went out to Butler events out at the power plant. I saw many people out there. I ran track as a junior higher, seeing Marcus Walker and seeing different Dale Alexander and different people who, Preston Carrington, who went on to go to Wichita State and be an Olympic athlete. I saw them participate. So anyway, I just think that we are in a really great position at Butler. I want to serve another 4 years. And like everybody else, if you have a friend in El Dorado, Whitewater, or any of the communities up north, I'd appreciate their vote on November 4th.
I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. Do not forget to go out and vote on November 4th. For those of you watching online, if you were unable to be here, these races are very important. They're very important to the future of our community and to the direction that we go. So I hope that you did take the time to watch this. Reach out to these candidates, learn about them, learn about what they believe and how they see things moving forward, because it does affect you every single day as you drive around Andover. Thanks again for being here. If you have any questions for the candidates, I'm sure they would entertain them, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a good night.